GDP reading right now. Cheryl Casone with the numbers.
Down 1.6% is the final read for the first quarter. 1.6%. OK, the estimate was for 1.5%. The last read, as you were just talking about with the congressman, was 1.5%. Before that, it was 1.4%, 1.6%. Within this report, what they are saying is that basically that the biggest problem was the trade deficit. You've got less business investment and inventory in the first quarter, less government spending, more imports than exports. That's what kind of factored into all of this. But again, 1.6%. The estimate was for 1.5%. The question now, are we in a recession? Is one coming? Is it in progress? You've had a lot of guests talk about that today. Also want to say here, this is amid rising inflation, raging inflation, if you will. Also just want to tell you that for the fourth quarter of 2020, that number also getting kind of jiggered, if you will. That coming in 6.9%. So you had a strong Q4, and then you had 1.6% to the downside, Maria, for Q1 of 2022. First drop that we've seen in this number in 2 years. The last time we had a negative read on GDP was the second quarter of 2020. And as you and I both know, that was the start of the pandemic in this country and the lockdowns across this country. A lot to go through, a lot to discuss, Maria. But again, 1.6% down, final number.
Yeah, and you've got the first quarter PCE also showing an increase, worse than expected. Cheryl, this number is worse than expected, suggesting to me that we are, in fact, in a recession right now. I know we're going to get the first revision on the second quarter in a couple of weeks, but I don't think people were expecting this to be worse than the last revision.
You know what? This is very rare, can I tell you? Because you and I both do these numbers every quarter. This is very rare to see this last read to actually be downside. And I'm glad you brought up core PCE, because you're right. Those coming in a little bit worse than expected. But again, this is not good news. And again, are we in a recession?
All right. We will keep watching that. Cheryl, thanks very much. Mark.